I'm quite excited about doing this EFL show because typically I write out the show, Sam doesn't pay any attention at all, and then just kind of spouts out the same thing, or occasionally looks at some score lines, like occasionally. This is someone who actually knows a little bit about the rest of the fucking football, pays a little bit of attention. Like, trust me, the bar is so fucking low, Danny. It's so fucking low. Let's start the show.
Born in the land of Bowie, Maryland. Bred to be a fan of fucking Everton. Punch you in the eye and drink your rye. Sam Houston.
Sam Houston?
Arsenal fans have another Sam. AKA the fucking Gooner Graham. Stump of a lord. Looks great in shorts. Sam Graham, hey.
Sam Graham.
Fucking United! Fucking United!
Hello and welcome to DU Does EFL, a completely biased brief recap of the English Football League as told by two common American schmucks. I am your host, Sam Houston, and across the way from me, our fabulous Wolves supporter, Danny. How you doing, good sir?
Yeah, no.
Well, just still marinating on the 2 shots of Malort.
Oh, yeah. It's marinating.
What I always love about Malort as a whole is that you'll have people who take it and know that it's the worst shot in the world, and they try to be tough guy, and they'll throw it back and they'll be like, not that bad.
Just wait.
Anyone who's ever done Malort just looks at you and goes, wait. Because you know what's coming.
Yep.
You know what's coming, and it's a shot that stays with you for like 10 minutes. You're like, yeah, that's the Malort I'm tasting, isn't it? And it's still right there. And someone else who knows a little bit about Malort on the ones and twos, producer Mel, how we doing over there?
I'm very grateful that I don't have to know about Malort very much this time lately.
Well, it's only a matter of time, Mel.
No, I think we're doing pretty good.
Yeah, it's only a matter of time before PSR comes for you and it all goes to shit.
Oh, we've already been given the clear bill of health.
This is my annual reminder, perhaps, to go back and listen to your old show when Wolves beat Villa 3-2 with the deflection. Because now I want to re-listen to Mel having to take a shot of Malort for that.
So beautiful.
Off of, was it Matty Cash?
Yeah, it was
Came off his ass.
Yeah. And that was the year after, I think, that we had done the whole run of Matt Cash-isms for when he had scored the brace. It was. I still loved straight cash homie myself personally. We're recording at the DU Public House just outside the nation's capital, and you can check us out wherever you get your podcasts, and of course, streaming live every single Monday night. Should you want to chat with us, there is many ways that you can. Producer Mel, let's try this a second time. Should somebody want to get in touch, how do they go about doing it?
You can just reach out on all the old emails at dufootballshow@gmail.com. Find us on TikTok, Twitch, Kick, Facebook, X, Blue Sky, Instagram, and patreon.com/DU Football Show. Just $5 gets you to that magic tier where you get all of our extra shit.
Almost perfect, except for you forgot to say the handle of the actual socials at DU Football Show.
Everything is DU Football Show. DUFootballShow.com, DU Football Show at Gmail, DU Football Show at everything, except for our t-shirt shop, which is DU Drip Shack.
Gotta go to the Drip Shack, get all the fly ass gear. That is for
I am
damn
pissed that we own that URL.
What, the Drip Shack?
Yes.
It's a great fucking URL. I love that URL. We're actually drinking something different here. We're not drinking the same old shit. We decided to, Danny brought some gifts. So please, Danny, talk all about what we got.
We're currently going to be drinking some Beccherovka, which is one of my favorite liqueurs. It's Czech liqueur. I don't know a ton about it except that it tastes like Christmas. It's got a very kind of like clovey, cinnamony flavor to it. I think you guys have a different backstory to it. For me, when I was in college, a good friend of mine was dating a girl who was born in Slovakia and introduced this to us. Interestingly, people from Slovakia really not fans of people from the Czech Republic. In fact, when she found out that the movie Hostel was supposed to be set in Slovakia, she said, but it was filmed in Czech Republic, and they're actually like that in the Czech Republic, which shows the vibe that those two countries have. But yeah, that's my background to Beccherovka, and I'm a massive fan.
So every country has their own kind of version of a bitter or a liqueur, right? So essentially, you take a bunch of herbs and botanicals and you add sugar to sweeten it to make it a little more palatable, right? But the kind of thing that always goes on is you notice there was a bitterness to this, right? Now, I hate to put it in the same category, but it is much like a Malort.
Oh, 100%.
Right? Or like Amaros that you get in Italy. Now, Amaros are even more hyper kind of localized because it's each region has their own different style of Amaro. But the idea is that this is ultimately bitter and sweet is the idea. Most instances, particularly, remember, water used to kill you when you would drink it. These things were made to kind of filter water. They were made to be for medicinal purposes. These were typically made by the clergy of some form because the clergy were educated. They were the ones who knew how to distill. You think of things like chartreuse or Jägermeister or any of this. All of these things are the same. They all kind of fall under the same roof. And in the case of this is very much a bartender's and hipsters kind of dandy in a way.
So,
like
about right for me.
But it's lovely. Like you said, it's Christmas. It's fucking but it's not like juniper berry chewing on a Christmas tree. It tastes more like the holidays. Right? It's just lovely little. It's a lovely little drink.
Kind of spicy. It's a little sweet.
It's great to drink after a meal. It'll help settle the belly a little. I guess I'm not getting my cup back, so I'll pour myself a little bit more. What I also very much appreciated about this, because you could just tell a good liqueur bottle is, you know, when I first opened it and it had a little toughness to it, all that sugar buildup. Like,
well, also because I tend to drink it around the holidays, and so that one's probably from 2023 holidays.
But it's also fun. Like, this is again one of those kind of things when we're talking about like a bartender's darling. These are the kind of things that bartenders will do shots of. Right? Like, you think of like Fernet Branca again. You know, that's in that same vein. But the thing with Fernet Branca, it's mint and kind of barky, right? Like, it sounds like a bad description, but it's an accurate description. With Fernet Branca, it's minty cigar leaves is really what it kind of tastes like. Like, it tastes like a cigar and it's minty, you know? And with this, it's just great amount of sugar. It's lovely. It's lovely. It's a lovely sipper. It really is. And it really does actually, if we, with any of these Amaros and bitters and stuff like that, something like grappa, right? All of these things. Have one of these after you've had a giant meal.
Right.
And your belly is fat and you're feeling gassy and you're like, fuck. It's alcoholic Pepto-Bismol. It will settle your stomach in literally 10 minutes.
Despite being Italian, you can't mention grappa in my presence or I will get sick.
But same thing, you know, but all of that, Fernet Branca is Italian. So have a shot of Fernet Branca after a meal, or and some of them are meant for, you know, getting the palate going for a meal, right? So like whenever I'm going to a steakhouse, the first thing I order is a Campari and soda with a squeeze and lime.
I love a Campari soda.
Because that's the idea is it's brushing, not my teeth. It's like it's brushing out my entire mouth. It's just kind of cleansing my palate, waking up my taste buds, getting me ready to go for a big ass steak meal. Like, and just those things, they have bitterness. Yes. And that's something you got to be okay with. Like, this has got a little barkiness to it. You have to be okay with that. And that is, and people like with Fernet Branca, they're like, I can't get past the like tobacco-ness of it. I'm like, yeah, and that's going to be a thing, right? You either love Amaros and bitters or you hate them.
Right.
And if you love them, you drink all of them. you love them all. You are like, this shit is awesome. Like, and I love getting into all the different Amaros throughout. I mean, that's its own thing because it's like, you know, it'll be like, oh, it's this Sicilian lemon that's being used, or it is this fucking, you know, fuck, I'm forgetting the region. I think it's Campania with the oranges for certain
all
Amaros.
right, next
and
time
all
I
of
come
that.
down here, bring Amaro Nonino.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Amaro Nonino. I will fuck with an Amaro Nonino. I fuck with all of that one side is mostly whiskeys. If you look on the other side behind the villa, there's a bunch of bitters back over there.
Right.
A whole bunch of bitters. So what else should we always do whenever we're enjoying some great aperitifs?
That would be drink responsibly. Although, you know, during the December months when I'm drinking Beccherovka, very little responsibility. But always drink responsibly.
You know what? You know what the responsibility is? Is you're not behind the wheel of a car. You're at your house, sitting on your couch, being a dumbass in your own fucking house.
Exactly.
And that is completely responsible. Let's go ahead and get into it. The championship opened with a crazy match on Friday, even though there were no goals at all. I said it finished 1-1 because I did a complete typo. It was actually 0-0. But here's the thing. Sunderland got 2 PKs in the last 10 minutes of the match.
Yep.
They had the same guy take both of those PKs. The same guy went the same way both times, and both of them got saved by James Trafford the exact same times.
Yeah. I honestly I haven't been paying attention to as much EFL as I should this season, probably because Wolves have been making my life pain. But this one came across my socials because of the similarities to a certain game that we had in our promotion season against Cardiff, where it was very similar. 2 PKs, both saved. Well, one saved and one arguably maybe touched by the goalkeeper, really off the crossbar. And it was just like all in the last, you know, extra time, 10 minutes. Like it was just a total chaos. And the similarities were too strong not to notice, where it's just like, this is utter chaos. And how does this end this way? You know?
And remember, James Trafford got benched for Muric.
Yeah.
and of course, their manager got relegated and then went to Bayern Munich. Keeping it rolling, Leeds got a big 3-0 win on Wednesday, on a Sunday, to continue their 1-point lead over the top of Blades. Here's the thing I was going to kind of talk about is your top 4 teams currently are Leeds, Sheffield United, Burnley, and Sunderland. And there is a big gap between 5th and them. This is very, very similar to last year. The only difference with this to last year is last year, those 4 teams that were up there, their points were good enough that I think all 4 of them would have won the league on most years. This year, it's not that big. We'll wait and see where we get at the end of the year. But there is a clear-cut 4 teams, and they are head and shoulders above the rest.
Yep.
And then you follow that up with the next 4, and those 4 are 10 points behind Sunderland, but then really tight. And you've got, in no particular order, it's Blackburn, Middlesbrough, West Brom, and Watford. And I think I might even gotten the order right too.
Close. Blackburn, West Brom, Middlesbrough, or Watford.
Yeah.
But the last 3 all are on the same point. So you basically got it right.
That's the thing. They're also all within 1 point of one another.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's some teams that are, you know, they're in striking distance, and, you know, Wednesday got themselves in the top 10 at 1 point, and Bristol City, who you guys beat, have gotten themselves up there, and Coventry's made a little bit of a push, but the really big one is then turning our attention back down to the bottom of the table, and regrettably Pompey got a nice win, which was 2-1. Not regrettably, good for them because we have a soft spot for Pompey. Got a 2-1 win over Borough, but so did most everybody else get wins as well. So they find themselves still in the drop. But other than Plymouth, who are dead last, and they're 5 points off of even the next person in front of them. And frankly, Plymouth's always been kind of a League One side. They got up. They stayed up last year. They're probably going down this year.
They're playing for the FA Cup this year.
Well, and hey, they host Liverpool. So dreams can happen, baby. Dreams can happen. But the rest of the group are all divided by 2 points. And this is in order. We got Stoke, Derby, Cardiff, Hull, Pompey, and Luton. And in that, if you look at that now, Derby County has been down recently and just got promoted, and so did Pompey. But the rest of that is furniture of the championship. Those are teams that are always in the championship. And hell, some teams that were recently in the Prem or have been in the, I mean, these are all teams who have been in the Prem.
Right.
I mean, every single one, like Stoke's been in the Prem, Derby's been in the Prem, Cardiff's been in the Prem, Hull's been in the Prem. Yeah, they've all these teams have been in the Prem. And most of them level on points. It's a lot of goal differential. And even there, beyond that, like Oxford's only a couple of points out of that. Yeah. And Oxford had gone, they just recently rattled off a couple of victories.
Yep.
So bottom of the table is looking really kind of shaky. And it's been over the past couple of years in the championship, there have been notable sides that have gone down, right? Like you think,
right.
Birmingham City has just recently gone down. Huddersfield Town has gone down. Reading has gone down. Of course, Derby County went down. Ipswich went down. All these teams have gone down. So there's definitely where I think there's been a divide between the Premier League and the Championship. I think the parity gap has shrunk in the League One to the Championship. There are definitely, I think you're going to start seeing a lot more yo-yoing between those two
I'm on
leagues.
board with that.
You know, the only thing I fear in that regards is, do we start to see teams that make that push to get to the Premier League? They get their payday and then they fall right the fuck all the way down to League One. And is that financial bump for that 1 year worth that big of a fall? And I think we're going to start seeing that, unfortunately, just the way finances and everything work.
Yeah.
You got to spend big to make the next jump. We've learned that from Welcome to Wrexham when they were in the National League trying to get to League. You got to have essentially pay for a League One side to get to League Two.
Yep.
You know, and that's what I start to fear.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, that's generally, I wish I were an expert on all the financial side of things, but it's just like, it's unavoidable how much of a mess it is in that regard, because like you have just the insane amount of risk that you run in spending that kind of money, regardless of who you're spending it on. They're still human beings. You know, you're right. Paying to bring in players or whatever. Players can have a bad time. They're, you know, dad could die during the season or something. You know, like anything can happen, and it doesn't matter how much you paid for them, and like things can go wrong. And so when you have these huge financial incentives, I mean, we've always seen it with the Premier League, and now it's like beginning to be the case, like you said, like to get into League Two, it's just like, you can't have these, especially for the smaller clubs, you can't have them assuming this level of risk.
And there's not the massive naming rights for a stadium, and there's not the massive shirt sponsor, and there's
not a safety net.
There's not the massive jersey sales, right? Like a club like Wolves or Everton sell more jerseys than probably most of League One combined.
Right.
You think of that, it's insane, the money that has to be spent for the potential of success.
Right.
And it doesn't mean you're necessarily going to get it.
Right.
And then you have a short window in which it can happen. And if it doesn't happen in that window, you can tumble all the way down. And,
right.
I mean, I forgot Huddersfield Town, another perfect example. They're in fucking League One right now, right?
Yeah. Fun Wolves note on that one is that the year that we got promoted with Huddersfield, they, I think, won 2 games all season. Who do you think that they won those 2 games against? Wolverhampton Wanderers. Even though we came in 7th that year after getting promoted, somehow.
Well, no, they won 2 games, but they drew a bunch because they stayed up. It was their sophomore year that they ended up going down.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah. But are there any Wolves currently on loan in the championship?
No.
Okay, perfect.
Thank God. No. The one, I guess, notable, just, to make it Wolves centric in a way, is that like our loans have been like generally very bad. And I think part of it is that, the management seems to think admin structure seems to think that these players are at a higher level than they are. And so often get like these championship loans moved up, or sometimes in Europe, that I think that these players are not really ready for. We had Tawanda Tarewa, who had come in and gotten some minutes during our injury crisis last season. He went to Derby. And I even did a little spot for a Derby podcast talking about, like, I think he's a really talented player.
Right.
But at the same time, like, I think he's just not ready for the championship. Like, the championship is like, to use this kind of term, like a man's game, and it's like, if you're not ready for that, it's like he ended up not getting a ton of minutes, which was just like not that big a surprise, even though like when I watch him with the youth levels, like he's a really good player. But I think that there's like a fear to like put them too low or something. But it's like, no,
put them in League One.
Let them go get a bunch of minutes.
Yeah. Put them if they're a striker, put them in League 2 and let them score 20.
Exactly.
Fucking let them go do it.
Tawanda Tarewa was at Derby, but he recently came back from loan.
Got it.
So yeah, that's our only one. We've got 1 or 2 in the other leagues.
Cool. Well, let's go ahead and get to that. Birmingham City continue their lead at the top of League One as they won. Wickham holds serve. They got their win in second, and they're in second. Here's the big one. Wrexham had a bit of a shocker. They lost to Shrewsbury at Shrewsbury. Shrewsbury's in the relegation zone right now. They still sit in third, but Huddersfield has now figured out a way to just kind of get themselves in the discussion for 4th place. And something that Wrexham needs to be careful of is these clubs that just recently came down from the championship. They're they got the know-how, right?
Yep.
Like, Wrexham are just flying on momentum. It's the team just kind of shooting up the leagues, right?
Yeah.
This is where it starts to get fucking tough. Because like you said, championship is a man's game, right? Like it is tough.
Yeah.
Really, really tough in the championship. Let's see here. The other 3 playoff spots, there's a pretty big gap between 1 and 4, but the other 2 playoff spots are kind of between 3 clubs, which is Barnsley, again, another one of those kind of teams that's been in and around the championship. Stockport, which is the team that won League 2 last year over Wrexham, and Reading. But the big one to talk about is going to be this Thursday, so it'll be the day after this show actually gets released, because this show will get released on Wednesday, even though it's recorded on a Monday. I don't care about the time-space continuum, Mel. Don't give me those eyes. We have Wrexham hosting Birmingham City at the top of the table.
My only question is Tom Brady going to be there?
Yeah. Well, here's the big one. I'm not sure if you guys had seen this yet. Saw it on the old Meta today. Apparently, there is going to be a tour in the summer for the EFL, not for the Prem. Wrexham and Birmingham City are going to play each other in Dallas, and they're going to play them in LA.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so wild. I mean, like, in some ways, this is a weird, like, continuance from the FA Cup show that I was on, but, like, I'm kind of surprised that they haven't moved to this kind of thing earlier.
Oh, yeah.
Where, like, not that I want to be out here, like, saying that the overlords of English soccer should come and, like, exploit Americans' proclivity to spend way too much on tickets to sporting matches. But there's such an interest in this stuff, as evidenced by Welcome to Wrexham and Sunderland Till I Die, that, like, it's a real curiosity. And I know that it seems like very kind of like small time and cringe in a way to come over and play those games. But, like, back in the 70s, I think, Wolves came over with a bunch of teams during the summer, basically during their break, and played in a league where they were like, it was LA Wolves versus like, fucking Baltimore, whatever, and like, they're just out here making money. We all know that that's like the entire story behind that.
And if Wolves come out next summer, you will go out again.
Right.
It was worth every penny going to see them play in Annapolis,
but they came
especially because
literally,
it was in your backyard.
Yeah, they literally played a mini season during the summer. And yes, it was not senior players. It was mostly kids. Although you have to imagine those kids who are like 20 years old and they're like, hey, it's 1972. Would you like to come live in LA for a little bit? And they're like, yes, I would like to come and smoke grass for a little while.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and you think of like what they've been doing now, and you look at like what happened over the summer here with the West Ham Palace and Wolves playing each other. You kept it along one area, right, along the East Coast. You can do it again and go out to the West Coast or be central and do like, go from Chicago to Columbus and stuff like that. You can do that, right? And people will come see you play. And the teams have also recognized we need to make sure our stars get at least a run out.
Yeah.
Like everyone gets on the pitch.
Yeah.
Even if it's for 10 minutes, we can have a bunch of kids start.
Yeah.
But we'll have, Wang will be out there to start. And we'll sub them out after 20.
Yeah.
And that's, we're going to bring fucking 40 guys and we're going to rotate
My only
a
argument
bunch.
is that, like, if they do that, what they need to do, especially for these lower league teams, I love this tangent, first of all. But, it's just like, I wish that they would look at, like, the Navy Stadium that we played at is, like, actually a pretty good venue for that. And, like, other, like, college stadiums or something. Because, like, I know that they want to make, and this is why they'll never do it, but I know they want to make a ton of money, which you can do when you're at an NFL stadium because you can charge like insane prices to get in. But like, it'll look so much better. And also, like, Americans, this is getting into the whole cultural thing, but are like looking for a certain amount of like realism of the experience of like seeing these teams, especially the lower league teams, and like the community feeling of that. And like, if you had a relatively small stadium that you can pack out, I would go see Wrexham, even though I'm kind of a hater for them.
Right.
Like, that would be actually interesting to me,
Well, and the smart thing too is particularly a place like Navy, you put them all on one side. Yeah. And they sold the upper and lower deck, right?
It was a decent atmosphere.
Like, that's the Blues do the lower side, the side that we were all on. That lower side is the Blues, and there's 10,000 people there every fucking Saturday to watch them play. Like, same thing applies. And I agree with you, doing it in those kind of more college-based stadiums.
Yep.
Because really, for the Brits that are going to fly over, which there are a significant amount of Brits that fly over, right?
Yep.
You got to put it to an area where they go, oh, DC's 30 minutes away.
Yeah.
I can go visit DC while I'm here, and then I can watch my team play. And all of them, as Mel could tell you from when Villa came to town, they get off on the fucking idea of a tailgate. They think it is the greatest fucking thing in the world. They love it.
They love the tailgate in Annapolis, despite it being like the meekest tailgate ever.
Like the one we did for Villa and Fulham, because it was a joint effort. We're there at FedEx Field.
Yeah.
We're in the purple lot, so we're right up by the stadium, but we have grass where we're set up. We have a grill cranking out food. We have an obnoxious amount of beer. We have a Bloody Mary cooler set up. We have fucking whiskey and mixers and all kinds of shit. And for the Chicago fucking Villa people, 2 bottles of Malort. I mean, it's insanity. And the first wave that was there early was all the Villa people.
Yeah.
And then the Fulham people started to show up. And then the Villa people went inside. The Fulham people partied like fucking crazy. Khan came out and took photos with everybody.
Lord.
Like, it just insane. And then they go in and the Villa people come out and they're drinking like fucking fish. And then finally they're like, yeah, you guys need to fucking pack this shit up. We're done. We're done. I'm like, we'll stay here till 10 if you let us. Yeah. Because the Fulham people will come back out and we'll all keep drinking. Like, let us drink till there's no more alcohol and then we'll leave. But yeah, they love it. And I I like the idea of what they're doing.
Yeah.
I do agree with you. It's like, why isn't it up at Foxborough? Like,
Right.
Now, the LA makes sense because Brady probably lives in LA now. That's probably where he is, especially because he also owns a piece of Vegas as well.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, that's probably where he is. But it makes sense. And Ryan and Rob are smart.
Yeah.
They'll fucking trot out before the game and wave to everybody. It's what everybody wants to fucking see.
Yep.
They're not stupid people. Brady will do the same thing, right? Like it's a very interesting idea. But the more important thing is those two play each other. And we're getting completely off track. Let's get back where we are. I'm supposed to drive the bus. Wolverhampton players that are in League One currently.
None currently. There are suggestions that Luke Kundle might be on the move, probably to the Championship, but possibly also to League One. This is a player who has been on loan in the past. He had a small cameo against Spurs when we beat them 2 years ago at their stadium.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a potential check, but it's another one where it's I think we've had players on loan in League One in the past and they've all come back. I think currently our only ones are in League Two. So let's move on.
All right, perfect. Speaking of League Two, Walsall continued their 12-point lead on League Two, and they have a Stoke loanee by the name of Nathan Lowe, who is on 15 goals, 18 total in all leagues, which, again, why not send them down where they can just be successful? Build up their fucking confidence.
Right, exactly.
You're paying for their fucking salary to be there anyways.
Yep.
Put them in a place where they're going to succeed. They don't... when you're ready to put them on your team next year,
Yep.
that's when you send them to the Championship because you need to get them fucking quote unquote toughened up.
Yep.
The year before Barkley became a regular player for us, he was on loan at Leeds in the Championship.
Mm-hmm.
It's exactly the place he needs to be. But other than that, let him play where they can fucking gain some fucking, a little shot in the arm and let them think they're bigger than they are. It's okay. It's fine. They're 18, 19-year-olds. They already think they're fucking bigger than they are, right?
Yep.
They already think they're immortal. It's a little bit more of a battle for the rest of the playoff situation as second through eighth are only separated by 5 points. Notables in that group include Wimbledon and, of course, who we talked about on the FA Cup show, Doncaster. Now, we pay a lot of attention to Accrington Stanley because we are close personal friends with Ben Kay, the head grounds crew guy there, because he was the head grounds crew man at Chorley, who beat Derby County in the third round of the FA Cup and then lost to you guys in the fourth round of the FA Cup.
Yep.
That got him a new job.
Amazing.
At Accrington. So we check in with him regularly. We
oh my God, that you're just living to give me flashbacks right now. That game against Chorley is seared into my memory.
And it was not an easy day at the office for you guys.
No, and we have history there. This is like part of Wolves lore, deep lore, which is that when Wolves got double relegated, it was that was the moment that it was there are 30,000 fans that say that they were at Chorley away, which is not true because
it's impossible.
Chorley don't have nearly that. But it's this was the moment that we were at the deepest depths before our club legend Steve Bull came in and rescued everything, where it's oh, we are actually not just in a bad run where we're getting relegated. We're deeply cursed or something.
It's over. We're all gonna die.
Yeah. And then we drew them away in the FA Cup, and during the COVID season, we're just oh, this is history repeating itself. We're all gonna die again.
It's gonna happen again.
And only Vitinha saved us, who now currently plays for PSG.
So them, but also Tranmere lost. Now, both of them are 5 points above the bottom two, because remember, League Two only sees two teams go down. But those two teams at the bottom, of course, is Shrimps out for Macombi and Carlisle United.
God help us.
And I'm rooting for Morecambe, but not at the expense of either Accy or, of course, Liverpool's number one club and old Dino's apparently boyhood club.
R.I.P.
Yeah, is Tranmere Rovers. So, how are your Wolves doing down in League Two?
Oh, I just did some searching and I misspoke even more so. So they're down in the National League in Chester. So we have a goalkeeper down there. But yeah, I'm hoping actually some of these players do end up at some of these clubs because, like I said, like they need the minutes in those lower leagues instead of constantly putting them out to the championship where they're never going to get time.
Yeah, play them where they're going to play. Like get them fucking minutes. The whole point of loaning them isn't to make them somebody else's problem. It's to have them actually play and contribute and
right.
Maybe they become a sellable asset. Maybe somebody in the championship suddenly goes, "Oh, we want to give you, $3 million for that kid because we think he could be useful to us." You know, how is the keeper doing for the team in the National League?
Kept his clean sheet in the first game.
Excellent, very very good. Well, that's going to go ahead and wrap it up. Any parting words at all?
Just hope I'm not in the championship next year.
I do not think you will be, my friend. I do not. But truth be told, the reason why we were doing this show is because Everton might need in the championship, and I need to do a show about my team.
If we both went down at the same time, that'd be okay.
No, it wouldn't be okay. It wouldn't be okay because then you and I would have to do a championship show, and I wouldn't be doing a show with Graham anymore. Alrighty, well, everybody, that's going to wrap it up. Next up is injury time. We're going to preview the weekend's action, and we're going to talk about the beers we've been drinking and how our fantasy teams are doing. Should somebody want to find injury time, producer she's too busy. I'll tell you how to do it. Go to patreon.com/DU Football Show, which I forgot to do on the main show because I'm a bad host. Till next week, everybody.
Born in the land of Bowie, Maryland. Bred to be a fan of fucking Everton. Punch you in the eye and drink your rye. Sam Houston.
Sam Houston.
Arsenal fans have another Sam. AKA the fucking Gooner Graham. Stump of a lord. Look straight in shorts. Sam Graham, hey.
Sam Graham.
Fucking United! Fucking United! Hit the fucking mute button!